Cottsway is a housing association based in West Oxfordshire. We have around 4,000 homes.
We provide housing for people from the council waiting list. We operate in West Oxfordshire, but we're also developing in the adjoining areas in the Cotswolds, Swindon, Gloucestershire.
We have a brilliant staff team here in Cottsway who are really working hard to engage with residents, to map out what the residents want. We want to invest in the housing stock which we've actually got to make it fit for the next century, not just for today. And that investment we are prepared to make, working alongside and with the residents.
When I first drove past these flats, obviously I get given a job, and in December, just before Christmas last year, I drove past and it was drab and dreary and what I expected to look like.
Well, no, prior they were all right, very nice flats, but they must have known that the windows and all the cladding, because they've been up 40 to 45 years, must have wanted renewing, which they are now doing. So that is fine.
Cornish Road had for a long time been fairly unloved. It was unpopular, the flats were hard to let, and the problems were it was thermally very inefficient. Many of the tenants suffered from damp and mould due to thermal bridging, heat loss from around the windows. The cavity insulation had broken down and there was damp penetration in isolated areas.
Yeah, we had a lot of damp and drafty windows.
Cottsway investigated the possibility of demolishing the flats and redeveloping the site.
We couldn't get the planning gain that would justify the cost of that, so we reverted to the idea of refurbishing the blocks. It was quite attractive to do that because the floor plans are good. There was nothing wrong with the spaces, and if we could just improve the thermal efficiency of the block, we thought we could get a good result.
Following that, we had some informal tenant consultation with the residents of Cornish Road. We asked them what aspects that they didn't like about the flats that they lived in. They came back to us with such responses as they wanted improved security, they didn't like the cost of electricity bills or the cost of their heating.
We all were notified by, was it Cottsway or Giles anyway, and we all had a meeting in the car park and a barbecue. We were informed very well. It was very good, well planned.
We used those requests from the tenants to deliver the project, so we chose to give the tenants a controlled entry system, CCTV to alleviate their concerns about security. We also installed PV panels onto the roof.
You had the say in everything. You had the choice of colours of the door, the carpets.
Fairly early on we decided that we needed to do more than take out and refill the cavity fill. We knew it had broken down, but we knew that if we replaced the cavity fill with a better cavity fill, that would be okay, but it wouldn't do anything for the cold bridging through the lintels. What we've done on this project is take the external wall insulation actually under the ground, so it warms up that perimeter of the floor slab, so we hope we've completely tackled that problem. Giles Langford carried out a lot of diligent work trying to maximise the grant funding for the scheme. It was very difficult to do because I think it's quite innovative to carry out external wall insulation on a block where you'd normally just rely upon cavity wall insulation. So the grant funding, this is a bit innovative.
Doing all of the works at one time for residents means that there's minimal disruption to them. We would have had a programme of works that would have identified window replacement, parts of the roof replacement, internal decorations and flooring replacement and such like. To do all of those items at once is going to cause minimal disruption to the tenants and also offer us cost savings by maximising our economies of scale.
Working around the tenants wasn't too difficult because there wasn't a great deal that needed to be done within the units themselves. There was of course a lot of disruption from noise, especially from drilling to install the external wall insulation. Also there was some not well predicted nuisance from dust when we were extracting the poor foam cavity fill. There was escape of dust into quite a few of the flats and that caused distress.
This is a major refurbishment project costing us something like £800,000, where we've taken four, I think it's probably true to say, fairly run down properties. We've looked at what the residents actually want from their homes and in their homes, and we've added on to that the whole issue of energy efficiency.
We've been very fortunate to contract with art contracts because they've carried out this sort of project for social housing providers elsewhere, and we saw their work before we entered into contract with them.
During the project, we've gathered feedback by having a surgery held every Tuesday evening on site, where tenants are able to drop in and speak to our site manager and voice any concerns or any compliments that they want to give at the time.
An open, fully transparent approach to the tenants has worked well.
I just go over to see Pete to just say if something's wrong. He gets back to me and then they rectify it.
I haven't really experienced any problems during the building work. I think it's all been perfectly fine. The workmen have been really courteous. And yeah, there's been nothing wrong really. Locked out a couple of times with the front door locks, but they sorted that quite quickly.
The work that they've done on site has been exceptional, and they certainly have brought to life our vision and our dream for those blocks.
Well, you can't rectify something without a little bit of upheaval.
Where possible, Cottsways have introduced innovative ideas and materials.
We took advice from the system supplier, and we've ended up with render to the first and second floor, but a brick slip, which looks very realistic, brick effect on the ground floor.
The external wall insulation system consisted of a layer of enhanced EPS insulation, which was a high-performing insulant. This was an insulation that then got fixed onto the outside of the properties to really enhance the thermal performance of the properties.
Stay warmer in the winter, less draft. I won't have to go to bed with a bobble hat on.
The work they've done at the top bottom ones, where if they'd have done what they did at the top white and cream, I'm afraid the graffiti would, but no, they've done it in the proper brick work, which is it looks fantastic.
And in fact, the planners from the district council were quite insistent that we weren't too outrageous in our colour choices. So I think it's worked out really well in the end.
Peter Moore, the site manager for Arts, was fantastic at organising the way we worked within the flats.
I had my windows fitting the other day, but one, triangular windows, 2 young boys, and I was dreading that the same as I dreaded all the dust and the trouble before. So I went out all day long. When I came back, I have never known such an excellent, clean job in all my life. So I wrote a letter to the boys, they're out there now. I gave them a teddy bear each, because I've got no money, and a little letter, and I rang their boss and said, well done.
During tenant consultation, many of the residents discussed how they felt their electricity bills and energy bills were extremely high. One of the most unique aspects was the PV installation. We have a large array on each of the flat roofs. That in turn feeds into one large inverter in the roof space, which is then divided down into the flats, so the residents receive all of the benefit from those PV panels. The feed-in tariff we anticipate coming into us as profit over the life of the panels is going to be around £500,000 over and above the cost of the installation. From our understanding, this system hasn't been designed in this way on any other blocks of flats. The design helped to reduce the installation costs dramatically. Some initial discussions on site with residents and how they feel that the work has affected the way they are, the way they live, shows that the damp and mould in some of the flats has certainly been alleviated, and also that energy bills have dramatically reduced. Some of the tenants believe that their bills have reduced by up to £25 a week already, and we're not even in the cold spell yet.
To make state-of-the-art buildings which can give massive sums of money back to the residents in terms of refunds on fuel, something in the area of £220 a year per average resident.
That means a lot to me, and I think that would mean a lot to any family.
One of the things is that since they've done it, it's been one hell of a drop in electricity. We were putting in £25, £30 a week, right, out of our benefit. And now, we checked the last 4 or 5 weeks, down to £12, £13 a week. It's a hell of a drop. And if people say it isn't, they're lying.
Electric's gone down so much recently. The last 2 weeks, I've only had to put on £5 a week on electric.
We're hoping that we've turned the blocks around from being unloved and uncared for by the residents turned it into a place where they're happy to live, reduced the turnover rate.
We've given them first-class accommodation with communal areas, and we've also addressed their thinking. What is it they want? They wanted communal sky. They wanted door entry systems. They wanted CCTV. And as part of the refurb, we've built in all those residents' choices to this refurbishment.
That people can feel more secure in their homes following the CCTV and door entry system being installed. And the look of the buildings on the outside now means that they can feel pride in where they live.
I think it'll make people respect their homes a bit more.
It'll save on my heating bills, save on the noise levels because of these windows, and generally all very good.
I think hopefully the work will sort of make the people in the area a bit prouder to live here. I think obviously not that the buildings were awful before, but I think the look now, it feels a bit more like you're not really a social housing tenant, and it feels a bit sort of smarter.
The carpet area in the hallway, it's so much nicer.
Or then we play in the communal hallway because we normally go out with our monster trucks and that.
Well worth having done, well worth them doing.
Yeah, I think the clients made good choices. The main contractor's done a very good job in installing the system. And yes, it looks really, really good. Modern, fresh, but not out of place within its environment. So yeah, it's very pleasing to see the results.
Now the finishing project is something that I will be adding to my portfolio. I think it's taken away the stigma of what social housing should look like, and it's very similar to, on appearance, to new build projects that I've done all over the country. And if you pick away the outer skin, there's no way that you would believe that this small community is 50 years old.
It looks really nice. I think it's going to attract people to come and live. It's really nice.
Doing it is like new blocks. Then and it looked brilliant from the road, both sides coming in.
Cottsway, yes, they involved us a lot with what was going on and every little bit. They sent us letters for our door and everything.
I feel proud to come home now, with all the work happening and how they're looking now. Very nice.
Post-project, we're going to be assessing energy bills of residents, so residents that have been there for 3 years or more. We're assessing their energy usage for the previous 3 years, and then we'll look at their energy usage in the forthcoming year and assess the impact that the energy saving measures we've installed in properties have had on their bills.
I think we've learned a lot through doing this project. We've learned that it's good to tackle all the desired improvements at once to get a good result so everybody really see a big difference. It's also more cost effective to do it that way.
The things that worked well on this project were the tenant consultation. We discussed very early on in the project what the tenants would wish to see change within their blocks of flats, and then we ensured we delivered that. The more we discussed with tenants, the more comfortable they were with what was happening ahead of them.
The key to this project is obviously communication, not only with our own subcontractors but with their tenants. So with the tenant liaison leaving on a Tuesday and the weekly newsletter informing each and every tenant of what works would be affecting those individuals a week before, giving them the weekend to absorb that. I think that was the key to this project being successful. Yeah.
That they could have stated there might be a lot of disruption, which now in future they can say, and we will look into what is wrong and remedy it at the end. It's quite simple.
We have a far clearer idea of the social impact on this type of development in a close-knit community. I think that's something we'll take forward to future developments.
Yes, we don't have similar buildings to this, but the basic principle is something which we will use time and time and time again. Talk to the people who matter, and that's the people who actually live in the units of accommodation. What is it they want? And as we refurbish and regenerate an area, they are the people who are driving what we can actually do. So the principles, yes, most certainly.
The residents, when giving feedback on the project, seem to be very positive. They're very pleased with the contractors on site, as are we, and they're also very pleased with the look of the properties as well. They're certainly feeling much more pride in where they live.
I think it's lovely, very nice. Yes, I don't feel ashamed to live here now, where I shouldn't have done before, but I did.
I'm very proud of what the Cottsway team has achieved on this renovation. It's given us a guideline of how to operate in the future.
I and Art Contracts are very pleased with the finished product. it's a flagship for ourselves as well, and obviously it's something that we're promoting with future developments, not only with Cottsways but the other boroughs.
We're exceptionally pleased with the way our products sit and how they look against all the other products, which obviously look really well. So you've got to take your hat off to the designer there as well.
Absolutely. Can't put it into words really. When you get the feedback from the residents and for the client to want to take an undertaking like this as an opening ceremony, it's testament in itself as to how well the project has gone.
What I'm also proud of is actually seeing the smiles on the faces of the tenants. When I first came here, it was all very grim and very drab sort of environment, and now the tenants are reacting and relating more to each other, and it's its own little community now. So that's what I'm most proud of. Yeah. And also, obviously, there's been 3 new babies here, and it's nice to know that they'll have a decent home for those early years. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Pete.
Yeah, no worries.
All your lads and everyone who've done it.
Yeah,
done a
pass the
wonderful
message
job.
on.
They were brilliant.
Yeah, no worries.
Absolutely brilliant. All right.
I'm glad you're happy, Ron. Take it easy.
Yeah, we are really happy.
See you later.
See you.
She loves that position.
Yeah, we're happy here. We'll see our days out here, definitely, no doubt. But if somebody said, move, give you £1,000 to move, say no, no way.